I'm Cynthia Francis Gensheimer, and today is November 11th, 2023. I'm here to interview Lucille Siegal Manis, who has always gone by Toots. And we're at her home in Denver, and we're doing this interview for the Denver National Council of Jewish Women Oral History Project. My first question for you, Toots, is where were you born?
I was born in Denver, Colorado.
And what neighborhood did you live in?
I lived in off of Jackson Street, and I was near like Gove Middle School, and right around there.
And I'd like to find out a little bit more about your background. Can you tell me a little bit about your parents?
Well, my mother was president of the National Council of Jewish Women. She is the one that started the traveling theater because she wanted to do live performances for children who might never ever see live performances. So that's how the traveling theater got started, and she was always very active in the community. As a past president, I was raised in council, I guess.
Tell me what her maiden name was.
Her name was Mary Jacobs.
And where was she born?
She was born in Denver.
Oh, and were her parents born in Denver too?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. And what was your father's name?
Sidney Jacobs. He was an attorney, and he practiced in Denver.
Was he from Denver originally?
No, he was from Mississippi.
Mississippi?
Uh-huh.
Wow. How did his family wind up in Mississippi?
Wound up in Mississippi, I don't know. I guess they moved there.
And what brought him to Denver then?
Nothing, he just decided to move this way. I don't know what made him decide to go here.
Okay. And were your parents involved in the Jewish community when you were growing up?
Very much so. My mother's a past president. She's the one that started traveling theater, and she's just always been very active. She was president of Hadassah. She was president of all the national things that were going on in Denver. She was a member of it and a party of it, and very active.
Did they belong to a congregation?
Yes, BMH and Temple, Emmanuel.
So was she involved in any sisterhoods?
Sure, she was involved in BMH, sisterhood.
And what about your father?
My father was active, but I'm not sure whether he belonged to any organizations. He was an attorney and would have been part of an attorney group, but nothing specific that I can remember.
Were you confirmed?
Yes, I was confirmed from Temple Emmanuel.
So you had gone to Sunday school from the...
Yes, went to Sunday school, me and my brother.
And what high school did you go to?
Went to East High School.
East High School?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And were you involved in any kind of Jewish activities in high school?
Sure, I was involved in all the Jewish things that were going on in Denver. I was, whatever sisterhoods and things I was part of.
Did you belong to a sorority?
I belonged to, what was it? The one where we rode horses. We went horseback riding once a month.
Oh, so that was with Christian girls as well?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And did you go to college?
Of course.
And where did you go?
I went to CU and DU. I'm 5 hours from a PhD, so one more class and you call me doctor.
Congratulations. What did you major in?
I majored in, what did I major in? I don't remember.
What were your plans for after you graduated? Did you have plans when you were in college?
Not necessarily, other than to just be active in Denver.
Mm-hmm. And were you involved in any kind of Jewish activities as a college student?
Just the same ones that I always was. Nothing other special. I joined a sorority, which I don't think I remember the name of, and it was a Jewish sorority.
It was a Jewish sorority?
Yes, yes.
And did you live at home?
When? Yes.
Pardon me?
When I wasn't in school, yeah.
But during college, you lived in a dormitory?
Oh, yes, of course. Or with, friends in an apartment house, we just, yes.
Did you face any anti-Semitism when you were in college?
Not really, no.
And had you before that when you were growing up in Denver?
No.
You don't remember any? And did you participate in Hillel? Was there a Hillel on campus?
I don't know if it was specifically on campus, but yes, I was involved in all those things.
And did you attend services when you were a college student?
Probably not.
And in terms of religious observance, has your household as an adult resembled the one that you were in when, as a child?
As a child, we always kept kosher. When I grew up, I kept kosher. So we're kosher here, partly.
And so you observe the holidays the same way you observed the holidays the same way as an adult that you did as a child?
Yes.
And have you belonged to a congregation as an adult?
Yes, I belong to BMH.
And how would you characterize yourself as a Jew? Would you call yourself observant, secular, something?
Observant.
Observant, okay.
Yes.
And in terms of religious, have you ever had a career?
Yes, I'm a teacher and a theatrical director and producer. So yes, I have.
Tell me about your career as a teacher.
As a teacher, I taught elementary school. I taught 3rd grade, and it was fun. We always had a good time.
And where did you teach?
I knew you would ask that, and I can't remember.
I'm sorry. And when you were teaching, did you involve dramatics into your program?
Absolutely. That has always been very important to me. And since I'm a theatrical producer and director, that was something that we always did. I've written 43 musicals, and I've written for the National Council of Jewish Women. I've probably written 10 of them. And I've been called on to do shows for other people. That's it. We're having a convention, write a play, and I did a lot of that. And just have been very active theatrically. And I was a producer at the Aladdin Theater, and that's what I've done.
So where did you get did you have formal training to prepare you to do all of this kind of work?
Not really. Just wannabe.
So to what extent did your mother's involvement influence your choice of career?
Well, my mother was involved in everything in Denver. Every kind of committee or anything she was involved in, which of course meant that I would be too. I'd go meetings with her, and I just grew up that way.
Well, since we're talking about National Council of Jewish Women, let's get into the specifics. You said that you were involved, you watched your mother's very active participation. Do you know why she became involved in National Council of Jewish Women?
Because she loved being part of a Jewish community, and she was very active. She's a past president, and she's been on the national board, and it was just natural to me to be part of it. I'd go to meetings with her, so I knew what was going on, so I just did that.
Was she carrying on a family tradition? Had her mother been involved with National Council of Jewish Women?
I don't think it existed at the time.
Well, it was created in 1893.
Oh, well, I don't know what kind of a committee they had. I don't know about what her parents did.
Okay. I meant to grab this earlier. Is it okay if I go and grab this gavel? And I'll just hand that to you.
Okay.
Can you tell us what that gavel is?
This is a gavel that she used as a president of National Council of Jewish Women, and it says Mary's gavel, so it has her name on it, and she used it when she was president.
Some people these days might not even know how a gavel was used in committee meetings, but can you kind of explain that to us, please?
Well, the gavel was used when everybody was making noise, and you hit it and say, "Okay, let's have it quiet now."
Do you think that they conducted their meetings using Roger's Rules of Order?
I would assume.
And about when was your mother president? Do you have any idea?
I have it written in a book over there, but not exactly, no.
When you were in high school, maybe, or?
Or junior high. She was very active on every committee.
And can you tell us a little more about how she came up with the idea of the traveling theater? And
I'm not exactly sure. She is the reason that we do have a traveling theater, because she was very concerned, and maybe when she went to conventions and things, which she always did, she came back with the idea that we do a performance for children, because she felt that children might never see live performances, so she wanted to get something on stage that people could see. And you know, it was wonderful. It was the first time that we traveled to every Denver public school, and sometimes the outside areas too, if they called and asked us. But we were in the theater every Tuesday morning. We were on stage.
So even as a child, did she have you involved in some of the productions as an actress?
Well, not as a child. I don't think she got into the performance as when I was a little kid, but she was on stage. But once she got it going, we were all on stage and we were doing shows.
So were you singing and dancing?
Yes, yeah.
And where did you learn how to dance and sing?
Well, I took dancing lessons as a child. I was on Toes, and from, I don't remember what their name is, but one of the main theater what were they, teaching classes where they learned to do toe dancing and that kind of thing, and I took classes there, and that's where I learned.
And what about tap dancing?
I never really was a tap dancer. I can tap a little, but...
And what about the other people who performed with your mother? Were they, would you call them amateurs for the most part?
Well, nobody was really a major theater person. There was Billy Stein and Sarah Lee Pollock, and I can't remember all the names, but they were all very involved in council, loved it, and we did a lot of fun things, lots of parties, lots of, you know, a lot of community work, and that's what council is.
When would they rehearse and get ready for the performances?
I don't know. Since I wasn't always in the, you know, they'd go to the, Temple Emmanuel would always loan us their stage. We did a lot of practicing there, and I don't know where all they practiced, probably BMH. And
when you became involved yourself, about how old were you, would you say?
Oh, gosh. Probably about 17, younger maybe.
And then at some point, did you take over the Children's Traveling Theater from your mother directly, or were there other people in between?
But there were other people involved. I mean, I was, when they appointed me and said, your job this year is traveling theater, I was traveling theater. But I was very involved, and I've written 43 musicals, and at least 10 of them for their productions, you know, for the fundraising at night, and then the shows that traveled were some that I wrote and some that we just picked up.
Can you give us examples, like Wizard of Oz, I think, was one of the...
One of the shows, I wrote Bonjour, Madame Bernstein. I wrote Not Again, Madame Bernstein. I wrote so many, I can't remember the names of them all, but that's all I can think of right now.
And how old were the children you performed for in the schools?
Well, we always did a double performance. We would do one performance for the younger kids, and then when they cleared the auditorium, they'd bring the older kids in and we'd do another. So we did 2 performances at every school.
And these were elementary schools?
Yes. Once in a while we went to a middle school, but they weren't up for, you know, the children's type of stories and stuff.
And did you feel that the plays were well received?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, they were real excited to have us come. I've got a closet full of costumes I could show you.
Oh, that's interesting. So where would you store the costumes?
Well, they happen to be some of them are in my closet. Just, we take them home. We did have a storage place for a while, and then it got too expensive for council to support this closet or whatever where we put stuff. So we just took them home.
And how did you find new costumes or put together?
We had them made.
Oh, you had them made, professionally made?
Yes,
Wow.
professionally made, so that they're beautiful. I have beautiful costumes in a closet back there.
Oh, we should have asked you to bring them out. Maybe after we're done with the interview, you could go back and get some, because that would add a lot.
I can show you Dorothy. I played Dorothy a lot.
And how about the props?
We had them made. We had a young man that was very good at that, and we'd pay him and he'd make the props. And then we had Kay Ambrose's boyfriend at the time drive and meet us at the school with all our props, and they'd get them on stage and we'd get on, and off we were.
Did you have do you have any funny stories that you could share of things that went wrong, or people who forgot their lines?
No, I don't. I can't think of anything right now. If I come up with one, I'll tell you.
Okay. But you never encountered any anti-Semitism when you visited these schools?
We were welcome, because they were getting out of class and coming to see something fun, do something fun.
Right. So did you have a sense of where you were most appreciated, or which schools the kids really most enjoyed the performances, or was it a uniform?
It was a uniform thing. They couldn't wait for us to come. They'd greet us in the halls. It was just very fun. The whole thing was very comfortable and well received, and I'm anxious. I'm trying to get another show up for this year, and we'll take it into the schools again if I get it going.
So about how many different productions you did one a year, pretty much?
Yes. We did a new one every summer. We'd get it rehearsed and get it on stage in September.
And have you lived in Denver all of your adult life then?
Yes, I have.
And
my whole life.
Right, all your life. And you've been involved with NCJW the entire time?
Yes, my mother was, so I guess I just sort of picked it up. I'd go with her to meetings and stuff. I didn't attend all the things, but yes, I've been involved in council forever.
And you said that in addition to going into the schools, you performed the plays as fundraisers. So what theater would you use for those fundraisers?
When we did a fundraiser, the productions we did at schools were free. We never charged a penny. We just wanted children to get to see live performances. When we did productions, I remember doing one downtown, in the theaters downtown. And we were well received down there too when we were charging for events and stuff.
So how did you advertise those? Were they advertised in the local newspapers?
Probably more in the Jewish news, but I don't know.
And then the money went to defray the costs that you incurred for the costumes and the
for
props?
Everything. Then it went for councils, general use, and then that's how we got our costumes paid for, because they were made for us. And, the council used the money the way they do.
Right, okay, very good. So aside from the Children's Traveling Theater, were you involved as an adult with other NCJW projects?
I'm a past president. I was involved with everything. I went to their conventions. I was involved in whatever we did, and I was also involved in other organizations like Hadassah, and I can't even think of all the names of them, but yes, I was.
Do you remember when you were president, or for how long?
I was president 3 years.
Was that in the 70s or 80s?
I think it was before that. I've got it written in that book over there, if you want to read it.
And when you said you went to conventions, were these regional conventions that
Yes.
you attended? Mm-hmm.
We go to New York, have a great time.
Oh, in New York, wow.
Yeah, in Chicago.
So were those national conventions?
Yes,
And you said your mother was on the national board of...
yes, she was.
And did she make friends on the national board?
Of course. She was a wonderful person. Everybody loved her.
I'm not surprised. And was she involved in committees at a national level?
Yes, she was. I can't tell you which ones. And she was also involved in every other Jewish organization in Denver. She was president of almost everything.
So did you think that there was rivalry between, say, Hadassah and NCJW?
Oh, I don't think so. You know, I mean, they did one thing, we did something else. And I'm a Hadassah member.
Right.
I still am.
Right. So when you became involved with NCJW, you weren't president right away.
And my mother's a little kid following behind.
Right. But as an adult, what were the things that you were involved with initially? The Children's Traveling Theater?
Oh, for sure. And everything. You know, just anything the council was doing, I was having fun doing it too.
So if there was a scholarship luncheon, you'd be...
Oh, of course. I went to everything. I was on the scholarship committee, and of course my mother was. She was very involved in who became a scholar and who didn't. So, yeah, it's always been a part of my life.
Did you think of NCJW as being a politically active group of women?
I didn't think of anything like that.
So what about NCJW appeals most to you?
Well, I love the traveling theater because my mother started that and because that's what I do. When I was I was always involved with council, but I was the producer and director at the Aladdin Theater, which I took over. And I was producing musicals and things like that. And I've just been involved in theater.
And so the next question, I think it answers itself. What are you proudest that NCJW has done? And
how can you even begin to start? There's so much. There's stuff all over the world that's going on with council, and I'm very happy with what they're doing here. We're a service organization. We do things for the community, and we do things for us. We're a social committee too, and it's just fun. You're involved in everything.
Right. So in terms of the impact in Denver, beyond the traveling theater, which has had such a great impact, what aspects of NCJW work do you think have left the largest impact?
I can't even begin to start there. They've done a lot.
Right.
They've been involved, and they get involved, whether it's a Jewish thing or a non-Jewish thing, it doesn't matter. It was a matter of whether it needed help or, anything we could do to make things work, we did.
And who are the NCJW members you've found most impressive over the years? And you can go all the way back to your childhood if you'd like.
Well, when my mother was president, there was Billy Stein, Sarah Lee Pollock, I can't remember who all. And then here, just everybody that's been president and everything, they've been very involved. And I can't start naming names because right this minute I'm going, huh?
And what about Billy Stein? Can you tell me a little bit about her?
Billy Stein was very talkative, very active. She played the trumpet. And she was fabulous, and she was a past president, and she was very involved, but her husband used to fish with my father, and so we all went fishing together. But she was a very active and very capable person.
Did she play the trumpet in your performances?
No.
Okay. And what about Sarah Lee Pollock, is that her name?
Sarah Lee Pollock, I can't tell you much about her. I know her father. Her husband was a doctor, Dr. Pollock. And other than that, she was very active, very well known. She ran for a national position, but unfortunately didn't get it. But she was very involved in council. All the women I named were involved.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of your own life, what would you say the difference that NCJW has made in your life, looking back over your so many decades of involvement?
Well, I don't know. It's just always been something I've always done, but I would say the traveling theater has been the most fun because not only did I get involved there, I had my own theater, and I was producer at the Aladdin Theater. So, it's always been partly theater.
I'm not from Denver, so I'm not familiar with the Aladdin Theater. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the Aladdin Theater is on Colfax and Race. It's still acting as a movie theater, and that's what it was before, but we pulled the screen and started putting up live productions. We had at least 6 or 8 productions there, and then it finally closed and went back to being a movie theater. But it's still going.
So when you were involved with those productions, they were general community productions?
Oh yes, it was open to everybody, and I had a full house almost every day. I also did performances, wrote shows for the Denver Center of Performing Arts, and they would call me and they'd say, oh, okay, go write a show. We're doing Christmas around the world, and we want you to write the Hanukkah show. Okay, I'll write you a Hanukkah show. And so I'd write them a Hanukkah show, and I'd get a call the next year, write another one. Okay, I'll write you another one. So we were involved with, I was involved with a lot of the theaters around.
So when you did those Hanukkah shows, were they well attended?
Very. I had a packed house. That's why they kept calling me. Do another, because I had a packed house every day, you know.
And who acted in those?
Whoever wanted to perform, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So what was your title when you were doing these shows at the Aladdin Theater?
I would title each show differently. You know, you give each show, like I wrote a show called Bonjour Madame Bernstein that I wrote for council. And then next year I wrote a show called Not Again Madame Bernstein, and I've just written 43 of them, so I have written for show, you know, for different organizations to call and say, we're having a convention, I need a show. And so, okay, I'll write you a show.
So where do you get your inspiration for all these shows?
From, I don't know.
Have you done shows for NCJW commemorative events like the 100th anniversary or anything like that? No?
I don't think so. I mean, if I had one up, it was out for them, but not specifically that I can remember.
I want to bring something else over that you got out some photographs, and I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about this one and show it to the camera.
I don't see how they'll see it.
We can get shots of it on the table.
It's
okay.
There's, I can't tell you much about it because I can't remember who everybody is. This was a long time ago, and everybody's in costume. I'm right here, but I don't know what you want me to tell you about it.
Okay. Well, it gives the size of the cast, right? It's 2, 4, 6, 8. Looks like about 11 or 12 people in the cast.
Yeah. They were big casts. Everybody wanted a part, so I made them a part. This is me.
Okay, great.
Wish I could tell you they all are in costume.
Well, can you think of anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just am very proud to be a council member, and I'm very excited with our traveling theater and all the fun things the council does. We're active and we're part of the community, and we do work for the community. We work for us. We work for social and secular. It's just very fun. It's a wonderful organization, and we like to be part of everything and help the community, and it's just a great organization.
Well, thank you very much, Toots. I know I've really enjoyed learning a little bit about your experiences with NCJW.
Well, thank you. It's been it's been a great life, because I guess wasn't this about this big when I started. Thank you.
Terrific.